Hey, what's up guys? Today I'll be answering your frequently asked questions. So check it out. Hey, what's up guys? Carlo here, and today I wanted to answer your guys' most frequently asked questions. Now, these are questions I typically get asked on this channel or on my other social media platforms like Instagram and Facebook. I usually get messages or comments asking these questions, so I figured I might as well put this all on video and answer your guys' questions the best I can. There are several questions I'm answering, so don't mind me. I'm going to be reading this off my notes right here. That way I can kind of keep track of what questions I'm answering as I go along. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So question number one is going to be, can you use smaller weight gloves for bag work? And the short answer to that is yes, you can. Now when you say smaller weight gloves, I'm assuming you're meaning like fight gloves, like 8 to 10 ounce gloves. And you can definitely use that for hitting the heavy bag, doing double end bag work, hitting the mitts with your coach. Relatively anything in the gym. And matter of fact, there's a lot of pro level boxers and even competitive amateur boxers that prefer to use those for that training because their conditioning is already on point. They're not really looking to add any more weight to get the conditioning aspect of it because they've already trained for that. They're more or less working on speed and precision and wanting to feel what the fight gloves feel like prior to them using it in an actual fight. The only time I would not use them is obviously going to be for sparring. Now if you're sparring, then I would recommend minimum is 14 ounces just depending on your weight class, but the most common that you see would be 16 ounces. So yes, you can definitely use smaller weight gloves for bag work or for training except for sparring. Okay, so the next question is going to be, what's better, the aqua bag or a traditional heavy bag? Now that's a great question, and honestly it all depends on you and the feel that you like. I've heard both sides of the coin where some people love aqua bags and hate traditional heavy bags, and they feel that heavy bags are a little too hard for them, and aqua bags, they just feel more realistic. And I've also heard people that love these traditional heavy bags and not a big fan of aqua bags. There's one thing you do have to keep in mind with these bags is one is going to be the convenience. Now aqua bags, when they're shipped out empty, so they're really lightweight. You typically don't have to pay expensive freight shipping charges for a filled heavy bag that weighs 100 pounds or more. So there's the cost aspect of it. With aqua bags as well, you're starting to see more of them have a traditional like cylindrical shape, but oftentimes the aqua bags you do see in the gym are usually shaped like body snatcher bags. They have more of a rounded bulb shape to them, so not a lot of people like that for straight shots like jabs and straights. They're great for like hooks and uppercuts. And the feel of it, when you hit an aqua bag, it's definitely a different feel than a traditional heavy bag. Your punches feel like you're actually punching like a human body, like your punches kind of sink in more, and it's a lot more better for your joints and for your body as far as wear and tear goes over a long period of time. So you really start to see people that may have had like tendonitis, shoulder issues, or a previous injury use aqua bags because it doesn't put a lot of shock through your body like a traditional heavy bag would. Now, a traditional heavy bag, a lot of people like these because you get that nice bang and pop when you hit them, that really pronounced feeling of your punches landing. And the other school of thought is a lot of people just like that old school heavy bag. You know, it's been a piece of equipment that's been used for a very, very long time, and a lot of people are like, you know, if it's not broken, why fix it? They love the feel of the heavy bag. They don't mind paying the extra freight when they purchase a new one, and they just prefer the overall feel of it. They don't mind that it might cause a little bit more wear and tear on their body compared to an aqua bag, but it really comes down to feel. So I can't say one is better than the other. Honestly, in my opinion, it's great to have both because you can feel that there's a benefit from both of them. But if you do have an injury and you're working on like golf or tennis elbow or tendonitis, and you want something that's a little bit easier on your body, on your joints, then the aqua bag definitely would be a way to go. And the traditional heavy bag is a great one too. So that's my thoughts on that. All right, next question is, what's the best Cobra reflex bag? Now there's two of them that pop in my mind. The first one is not going to be the most budget friendly, but is one that I did purchase and I continue to use, and I actually continue to use at my coach's gym, and it's going to be the Fierce Reflex bag. Now I bought this is a bag that's over $500, and I know a lot of people are like, man, that's way too much for a Cobra Reflex bag. Trust me, I get it. That's not going to fit everybody's budget. But from my perspective, from me using it, compared to like the Amazon Cobra bag, the Ringside Cobra bag, the Tidal Cobra bag, it works the best. It performs the best, honestly. I mean, you do definitely get what you pay for with it. It's a really nice quality. The spring bounces back and forth. My coach continues to use it even when I'm not using it. And he uses clients and he trains professional athletes on it, and it's still holding up. So, you know, the hype is definitely real, but you do have to kind of pay the price for admission when it comes to the Fierce Reflex bag. But that's definitely the best bag I've used. It has the best speed. You can definitely feel your punches land. Has excellent reflex speed. The second one I would say, which is kind of in the works and is coming out now, and I'm a big fan of it, is going to be the Reedy Keyless Cobra Reflex bag. And Keyless has actually made a spring where you can make your own at home, and which I did, which performs amazing as well. But if you're somebody that doesn't mind putting something together yourself and building it, then I would definitely recommend the Reedy Keyless Cobra bag, because he's going to be releasing that pretty soon. And I've always been impressed with what Reedy has done with this product. So there's actually two answers to that question. Number one would be the Fierce Reflex if budget is not an issue. But if you are on a budget and you want something that's a little bit more affordable but performs great, then I would definitely say the Reedy Keyless Cobra bag, which is going to be a modular Cobra bag. So that's my thoughts on the best Cobra Reflex bag. Okay, what's the best gloves under $50? The best gloves under $50, technically is a sub $30 glove, is one I recently reviewed, which would be the Fighting Sports Revere boxing gloves. They're a synthetic glove, but in terms of gloves at that price range, it's probably the best one. It does use synthetic, but the synthetic, is a little bit better quality. It doesn't use injected molded foam. It does have a denser quality foam in there, but you get a good amount of protection, pop, bang, and feedback. The hand positioning is pretty good. Thumb is pretty good, a little bit on the short side, but again, for a glove that's sub $50, if I were to compare it to the other ones I've reviewed, I'd probably definitely say that the Fighting Sports Revere boxing gloves are going to be the best at the sub $50 and even the sub $30 price range. What are the best gloves under $100? Now, this is a really good question as well. And still to this day, this can change, because you guys got to keep in mind I'm testing and reviewing equipment all the time. So what I'm saying now, as of when this video is being released, could change a week from now, it could change 6 months from now. It just depends on what I'm reviewing. But currently, I'd say still a glove that's under $100 is going to be the Hayabusa H5. Now, I reviewed these last year, and honestly wasn't expecting them to be as good as they were. You know, the Hayabusa T3s, which are their flagship gloves, the one that they're most known for, are really solid gloves. So the H5s, I was like, these were probably not going to be as good, but they actually surprised the heck out of me. They were synthetic leather, but it's very high quality. It's the same material that they use in their T3s. Really great wrist support for a Velcro strap. It's not overly overkill with the wrist support, and the multi-layer foam padding is excellent. I love using these gloves for doing bag work. You can use them on the mitts. You can do some sparring with them. They do have them in different colorways and sizes. And overall, the fit, finish, and feel and the comfort is definitely there for that glove. So coming in at under $100, I would say the Hayabusa H5s would be my choice for that. Next question, what are the best gloves I've ever used? Again, this can change in the future, but currently I'd still say that the Boxeo TM are the best gloves I've used thus far. And when I say that, that would be the most recent review of the black and red ones. I mean, those gloves were fantastic. Beautiful leather, handmade in Mexico, excellent. Feel, wrist support, they put a great amount of padding on the wrist. You know, weight accuracy was there. They use this nice, smooth, silky liner that you typically don't see in Mexican-made gloves. They're usually like a rough canvas liner. Excellent deep finger compartment. Thumb positioning is perfect. The foam padding they utilize is perfect. It's really the best glove I've used thus far, and I've used a lot. I've used Barracks, I've used 1v1, I've used a lot of gloves, but those particular pair of Boxeo TM or those Taurus Medina gloves were by far my favorite glove I've used thus far. So best gloves I've used so far, I would say the Boxeo team. And trust me, I mean the range is really you know, razor thin margins, because there's so many great gloves out now. So it's really hard for me to say, okay, this is the best one, because there's so many other gloves that are right there neck and neck. But I definitely say the Boxeo TMs currently are my favorite gloves. Okay, what is the best open face headgear? That includes cheek protector style headgears. So far, and this is ones this is a headgear I continue to stand by and I've used for years, and it's still my favorite. I mean, I've used so many good ones, but I just continue to come back to this one, and it's the Ringside Ultralight. And I know it might come to a shock to some of you guys. You'll be like, wow, the Ringside Ultralight. I mean, there's the Winning and there's the Fortress, and again, those are all good, but the Ringside Ultralight, the reason I say that is it's like the best bang for buck headgear. I believe the headgear is like $75, $80. It's super comfortable. The liner on the inside has more of this mesh feel to it, so the headgear does not slide around whatsoever. Has a lace closure for the top, a lace closure for the rear, which is really important to me. It does have a Velcro chin strap. I guess you can say that's the one drawback with the headgear. But when you put it on and you fit it, it's extremely lightweight. It's the lightest headgear I've ever used. It doesn't feel like you're wearing anything on your head. The ergonomics, where the air downlets are to protect your ears, are in the perfect spot. And it has an excellent field of vision. It does have these smaller cheek protectors on them, but they're not overly big where they push against your nose and your peripheral vision is limited. It really does give you a good amount of cheek protection so you don't get cuts or bruises if you do clash with somebody or you guys get in a head clash. But it has an excellent field of vision, easy to put on once you have it set up, and still my favorite headgear till today. So it's gonna be the Ringside Ultralight as my favorite headgear. What's the best face saver headgear I've used? And another great question. This is one that I would say I'm not a huge fan of face savers. I get the point behind them and the purpose of why they're being used. I just personally never like to use them, but out of the ones I've tried, I would still say that the Sabas face saver is still my favorite. It is basically like a Japanese Winning FG5000 replica, except much more affordable. And the one thing I do like with Sabas is it does have the quick clip chin strap. It does have this nice microfiber suede liner. And again, if you've seen my channel before, you know I'm a big fan of headgears that have like a suede liner. And yes, it does typically soak up sweat a little bit more, and you got to let it dry out quicker or dry out longer, should I say, than like a headgear that's lined with leather. But it just prevents it from sliding around it. And I think that's the one big thing with headgears is I hate when it slides around, because you're constantly sitting there trying to adjust it in the middle of sparring, which is a pain in the ass. So the Sabas face saver is a great price point. I believe that they're like $120 to $140. I know the price may have changed over the years. It's been a while since I bought one. But I definitely like the fact that it has pretty good vision for a face saver. It does have a moldable face bar, and the suede liner is a big thing too. So the Sabas face saver would be fairly my favorite face saver. Next question, what are my favorite boxing shoes? And I actually recently just did a review on these. This would be at this point in time, the Adams V-Trainer boxing shoes. And this kind of goes back to the old Adams boxing shoes, the ABVs. You know, Adams Boxing, they're made in Mexico. They're kind of modeled after the Reebok Renegade boxing boots, but have evolved over the years and are really nice quality. They're relatively inexpensive at $119 for a boxing shoe. You know, all things considered, there's Nikes out there that are almost double the price. But very comfortable, excellent colorways you can choose from. He does custom shoes, great grip, great foot support. In the V-Trainers especially has a thicker EVA foam sole. So you can essentially use them for more training than just your traditional boxing training, than just shadow boxing, sparring, hitting the bag. If you want to do plyometrics, conditioning, they offer more support for that. You know, if you're doing box jumps, burpees, whatever it may be, the thicker sole really lends to being more supportive, and you don't have to worry about having a really thin soled boxing boot that you would have to remove and switch out for one that is a little bit more protective, or a pair of like sneakers or running shoes that gives you more support in that regard. What's my all right, we're almost at the finish line. The next question is going to be, what's my diet like? Now, honestly, I don't have a diet that I strictly follow. I just am mindful of what I eat and how much I eat of it. So I'll eat burgers, I'll eat pizza, I'll have a beer every now and then, I'll have a drink. I'm not like a calorie counter. I don't sit there and, you know, got a scale and put the food on there and say it's 5.4 grams and I can't have this today. I just train hard enough to where I know that my body burns so many calories as it is. So I literally need the calories and the fuel. That way I can continue to perform at my peak. Whatever my peak may be compared to you is completely different because I'm almost 40 years old. But I just limit as much as I eat. I don't try to eat too much in one sitting. And I also try to have like fruits and vegetables too. I think the fiber and the vitamins, like, so sometimes I'll put like a salad together. If I'm gonna have a pizza, I'll try to like balance it with like you know, some celery, some carrots, and like some cherry tomatoes, just so I can balance the meal out a little bit. So I will add vegetables into that, or have like stews, like a lot of Filipino food. We'll have you know, okra in it. You might have like a pork, and then you can add all kinds of other vegetables, broccoli, stuff like that. So I do try to add vegetables and fruits to my diet, but I do not stick to a strict diet. I don't calorie count, anything like that. I just don't overeat. That's the big thing. And with snacking too, I try not to snack. I'll try to get the majority of my calories in the middle to later portion of the day. That way at nighttime, I'm already kind of full. So I'm not snacking right before I go to bed and then carry all that food over and not allow myself to digest it. So that's pretty much the diet that I have, if you want to call it a diet. And I'm pretty loose with it when it comes to that. And the last question, which is a question I get a lot of, is will I ever use Haymaker boxing gloves? Will I ever try or review Haymaker boxing gloves and equipment? Now, for the OGs on this channel, they probably know that I did a actual review on the Haymaker boxing company as a whole a couple of years ago. I had a bad experience with them, with their customer service. I basically ordered a sparring set, which included gloves, headgear, and a groin protector. And at the time, Haymaker was advertising this like giveaway, and then I ended up winning the giveaway, and it was a reduced cost. So I still had to pay for them. They were just reduced in price. I ordered them, and I think almost like 4 months went by, never received them. I would communicate saying, hey, where's my gear at? Still haven't gotten it. And then long story short, after me basically having to like tell them I'm gonna go to my credit card company to get my money back, they finally refunded me. But it was basically like peeling paint off the wall. It took forever for that process to happen, and I finally got it back. So I decided to make a YouTube video, which actually got flagged and taken down, and someone had like put like 300 dislikes on the video within like one day. So it might have been like a bot or something, or a company that was hired, I don't know. But the video was taken down. But anyhow, I put the video up explaining my story on the video, and it got almost like more than 1,000 views in one day for my channel, which is pretty big for a channel my size. Excuse me. And basically it spurred this whole conversation. I would get tons of messages on Instagram, through my YouTube channel at the time when I accepted messages still, and all kinds of people came out of the woodwork, customers, saying that they had the same exact experience that I did. Like people, especially overseas, there were people that were located in other countries, especially, that I had ordered the gear like 6 months ago and never received it. And they are the ones that had the worst, because if you live overseas, and keep in mind Haymaker's based out of Florida, you're kind of limited to the kind of recourse you can do to get your money back. So I think that person working for Haymaker knew that, and were just taking their money and then not delivering the goods, and basically saying, you know, there's nothing you can do. You know, it's like, what are you gonna do, hire a lawyer or fly all the way to the United States and hire a lawyer and spend all this money for a $250, $300 sparring set? It wouldn't make sense. So it was enough money to where you can take enough from them. It would suck to lose $200, $300, but it wasn't enough money for somebody who lived overseas to be able to pursue it, if that makes any sense. So I felt like a lot of international customers were the ones that were really getting screwed by Haymaker. And there was a lot of local too here in the United States. So they came out of the woodwork. and my video got flagged, and then pretty much after that, that was the end of it. So to answer your guys' question, I'll never do business with Haymaker or any company like that that's doing a shady business like that. It's just a bad business. Taking people's money is essentially like stealing from them. So that's my story on Haymaker. So that's pretty much it. These are all the questions I could think of at the time. I'm pretty sure you guys have more that I may have forgotten. I made sure to kind of look through all my comments and my messages to pick the ones that I thought were the ones that were asked the most. But you know, I tried my best to get back to you guys and reply back to you guys that have, you know, legitimate questions. So if you guys have any more, you guys go ahead and put them down below in the comments box. But those are all the questions I could think of at this time. I hope you guys are having a great new year, and I'll see you guys later. Take care.